Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza Creates. Thanks for joining me today. So I've got another sort of tip video for you. Sometimes it's really hard to find, you know, genuine ephemera and nice photographs. We maybe don't all have a lot of money to spend on sort of Tim Holtz paper dolls and things like that, but we want to use them. So my tip is to get, if you find books like this, so this is a book that's not old, but it's written about old things. So Reader's Digest are quite good at making books like this, and I have quite a number of Reader's Digest books that look back in history, and they've all got a lot of things in common, which is lovely photographs and the perfect way of making paper dolls. So this book spans 70 years and it's British history, spanning up to sort of 1979. In the last page it does give you a little nod to a few things that happened in the 80s. We have Charles and Diana's wedding, the bringing down of the Berlin Wall, and that looks like some Huey Henrys at the stock exchange. So yeah, but the rest of it, we've got sort of things that they've got a timeline. And look, Nadia Comaneci, oh, I do remember her. I used to do gymnastics, and I loved her. I loved Olga Colbert first, and then she came along. But look, that's a perfect sort of paper doll, and you know, who didn't have a space hopper? And we've got Sex Pistols and digital watches. Remember digital watches coming out? But this is full of all sorts of things, and we have these wonderful little adverts and posters and some bird's custard there, a nice old kitchen, sort of kitchen I grew up with. So the book is just full of wonderful things. Cut that out, you've got a paper doll. I mean, you might choose to you know, not fussy cut that bit, but you know, you can choose where and when to cut it off. But it's just jam-packed full of absolutely wonderful things. Some of the pictures are a little bit big to use, but some of them are perfect. That is perfect paper doll, as is that. So what I would do is I'd take my dust cover off, because we don't need that, and I'd probably bin it, because it's not a lot of use. So that would go in my recycling bin. To get to the pictures easiest, I would just gut the book. So I'd just take my knife and pull it down, because I want to harvest everything that's useful out of this book, and then I can get rid of the stuff I don't want. So there we go. I will probably keep this because it's a book board, and I could use this for a cover. Probably chop it in half. I could make 2 smaller covers out of this. I probably wouldn't make a journal this big, but certainly if I cut that in half, I've got 2 journal covers there. And then I can now sort of take apart the pages a lot better. Now that's quite a nice front page there, nice colour blue there. That can go in my drawer of plain papers. So I'm going to take both of those off, and my drawer for plain book pages is just over there. They're gone. That's a nice picture. That one on the other side is quite big, so it would be this one that I'd be interested in, and that one's quite a nice picture. I think I'm going to cut it, well, rip it with a bit of a border, so I think it will make it look like, because photographs always had a white border. Now we have edge-to-edge photographs, but they used to have a white border. So that now looks like an old-fashioned photograph. If I just go around the edge there, that is already now to be used in a journal. It looks like an old-fashioned photograph. So that's that. These bits, looking at them, I don't need them, so that can go in my recycling bin. That's that. So that page is too big to use, I think, as is, oh, yeah, as is that one. As is that one. They're just too big to be of any use. So yeah, so I want that one. So I am just gonna pull that out. I'm gonna recycle this lot. I don't need it. I don't need any more big books, big book pages. They're a little bit shiny. Yeah, they're going. Recycling, gone. But I like that picture there, and there's nice bits on the other side. So I am sort of looking to see how it encroaches on there. I really like that. So what I'm going to do here is cut out, I really like that as well, so I can see that this photo ends sort of there, but I don't think I'll lose too much of it by cutting around here. So I'm going to go really carefully and as close to that wheel as possible, because I still want the photo on the other side. So I'm cutting this out. Now I'm just going to go roughly round it now, finishing off the fussy cutting at a later date. And there, I've only nipped that little corner there, so that is absolutely fine by me. I can live with that, because I may well put it in a place where I'd put something in that corner anyway. That was Queen Victoria celebrating her Diamond Jubilee. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that bit of information on it to use later. You know, I might, you know, it might be useful later, so I'm not going to get rid of it right now. I do intend to extend, I'm going to do a Queen Victoria journal, I think. So yeah, I might keep that for that. Right, of these bits, no good. Right, so on here, I do have that, which would be a lovely paper doll. And I'm not going to do the fussy cutting now, but that cut out, that'll be good. This will be good. So we'll have you. I do like ruler ripping. It's quick, it's satisfying, and it gives you then a fluffy edge to the paper, so that when you go round with the ink, it soaks, it's got something to soak into. Oh, that's a nice little embellishment. And then we can just bin the rest. So it doesn't take that long sort of going through. I've then got a pile of stuff to maybe take down to use. You know, I like that, dancing around the maypole. You know, when I'm in front of the telly, I'll fussy cut those bits. Or maybe some of them I might try and scan and cut, but I might just not bother. So what we're looking at the other side there, no, nothing there. Shall I have a bit of that? Oh, that's them burning a pig. I'm not really sure, as a vegetarian I really want that. So this page here, oh, she's grand. I love that little advert. So what am I going to lose on the other page? So this is where we've got decisions to be made. Kind of hold that up to the light. Yeah, it is definitely, I'm either going there or I'm going there. There is no other way around it. I think I'm going to turn her into a paper doll because she's fabulous. So I think she would be so cool. Cut out. And that's the only, you know, some of them lend themselves to paper dolls really well because they've got a white outline like that. But there's nothing to stop you cutting out of an actual photograph if you see something that would work really, really well. And I think she, gonna just go roughly now, would be amazing isolated. I'll come back in and do it a bit better, but just wanted to quickly and these sort of books don't cost very much. Just go across there. In a charity shop you can pick them up, but there we go. I've only rough cut that, but that's going to look fabulous as a paper doll. It really is. And then we'll have this. I'll see if there is anything I can salvage on the other side when I've done this. This is also a good activity to do if you've like lost your mojo, you're not feeling very creative. It's a stash building, ephemera building. If you're not lucky enough to be able to find lots of original ephemera, and you don't want to turn to digitals, maybe you haven't got a printer, maybe you can't afford to buy a lot of digitals, well, this is giving you things and you might not necessarily have to. Right, I could cut her out, although she's not in a great position, but I am actually I'm gonna grab her because I might change my mind. So I am going to grab her as a possibility, and I am going to grab this. I do like the idea. I just think he looks a little bit cheeky. So and it is actually demonstrating what I said right at the beginning about the fact that photographs used to have white borders, because that one is an old photograph with a white border. Now I could stick something on that, or I could cut it down there, but that is definitely usable. So more for recycling bin. So I just think this is a good way of going through a book really quickly. That's a fantastic picture. It is quite big, so let's just have a little look-see. I do like that, but I also like that. I love this. So we can take that for definite. I haven't got anything in mind for what I'm doing. I'm not got, just general vintage stuff is what I'm getting ready here. Not got a theme in mind, but I do tend to stick to vintage. But there we go, like that. So now it is quite big, that, for a journal, whereas that I could possibly use. So I'm going to make a straight line there. Oh, come up one. Let's come up a little bit. Come down there. I could probably trim it a bit more. We could come in a little bit on the side, a little bit. And then come down a little bit. There, that's a nice picture. Bung somewhere, nice to see the fashion. And then actually I can still use a bit of this, because there's then enough of that. I've just fluffed that a bit, but there's enough of that to be a photo. Cooking on gas. So that's it. So there we go. We've been 18 minutes, and I think you get the idea of where I'm going with that. I'm up to page 39, so I've done quite well. So I'm going to continue and do this, and then this book will be done with. And what I'll do is I'll just show you my little pile that I'm going to have, and how I got rid of this entire book, and then that's sort of ready for use. Okay, so I'll see you at the end. So I finished going through the entire book, and I've kind of split things up for easier storage. So anything that was related to nursing, I put separately. Got a little batch of things that are royal family related, and I got a batch here about sort of women's rights, really, and the role of women and how that's changed in the 20th century. And then I sort of, once I got to the 40s, I thought, why have I just got this big pile? Really, they need sorting. So that's up to the end of the 1920s. That is up to the 40s, and then it's split into during the war, and then the immediate sort of post-war period. And then we've got the 50s, where it was you never had it so good, business was booming, everybody was great. Not quite sure where that belongs. I think it belongs in there. Then we had the 1960s. So this is now coming into the realm of what I know. This was my parents meeting and getting together. I mean, they did feature. So both my parents were born in this era. Yeah, so I got to things that I knew, and then sort of up to date, going sort of swiftly just into the 80s. That's the Berlin Wall coming down, isn't it? So so that was into the 80s, and then it stops. It doesn't go beyond the 80s, so it's not the whole of the 20th century, but I remember the last bit. So there's a bit of me that thought I might do some sort of art journal of some sort of charting the 20th century. It kind of appealed to me. This took me much longer than I thought, simply because I kept reading bits, and it was like, oh, I didn't realise that happened then, or oh, I remember that. So yeah, I really enjoyed going through it. So now I've got this instead of that book. It's really not necessarily taking up less space, but what I've got is things that I've identified that I want to use. So in that sense, it is easier. So that's going to get popped into, I've got a little filing cabinet, so it's going in there for when I want to use it. Okay, and I can pull out different things if I'm looking at different eras. I can look for lovely glamorous pictures and know that they're there. Okay, hope that's useful. See you all again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.